Welcome back. It's time for us to talk about conflict resolution tool number 2. One of the biggest mistakes people make during conflict is believing their first job is to explain their side. It isn't. Your first job is to understand, is to actually listen and to figure out what exactly is the conflict about, the real reason, and how are we going to solve it. Many conversations break down because both people are trying to be heard before either has truly listened. As emotions rise, curiosity often disappears. We stop listening to understand and start listening for the next opportunity to defend ourselves. The result of that? Well, we know what it is. People leave the conversation feeling unheard, misunderstood, and even further apart than they were when they first started the conversation. Resolution is not left on the table. Healthy communication begins with curiosity. We talked about that before, not certainty. You got to be curious, not certain, because there may always be things that you just did not know. When people feel understood, they're far more likely to lower their defenses, engage in meaningful dialogue, and work towards a solution. Understanding doesn't mean argument or agreement. It simply means you're willing to see the situation through someone else's eyes before asking them to see yours. What if you did that? What if clarity was the actual goal? That's why I teach the Clear Conversation Framework, a practical tool for navigating difficult conversations without damaging relationships. So let's talk about clear. The C in clear stands for clarity or to clarify. Start with curiosity. Ask questions like, help me understand what happened. The L is listen. Listen to understand, not to prepare for your rebuttal. Ask thoughtful questions instead of making accusations if you're not clear about what was said, and make sure you're not inserting your own assumptions. E stands for express. Share your perspective without attacking the other person. Try, when this happened, I felt blank because blank. Instead of saying things like you always do this or you never do that. When this happened, when you yelled at me, I felt embarrassed because I don't like to be yelled at, and it takes me back to a place where I was yelled at as a child. And it makes me feel very small and unappreciated, unloved, unvalued, disvalued, undervalued. A in clear stands for agreement. Work together towards a solution. Isn't that what it's about? Don't you want to resolve it? Ask, what can we both do differently to make sure that we don't revisit this and that we move forward in a positive way? And the R stands for review. Before ending the conversation, make sure you're on the same page. Ask the question. Don't be afraid to say, what did we decide? I want to be clear. Or what does moving forward look like for us in this moment? How can we carve that path out together? The goal of conflict isn't providing the right information all the time based on your perspective. And it's not about you being right. The goal is creating enough understanding to move forward in the relationship with some sort of plan. So today's challenge, just replace one accusation with a genuine question. You may discover that the conversation changes the moment your curiosity becomes louder than your assumptions. Here's a question I want to leave you with. What makes listening so difficult when emotions are high? What makes listening so difficult for you when emotions are high? Figure out what that is and figure out how you can navigate that in the very next conversation that you have. Remember the CLEAR framework, and I'll see you with tool number 3 tomorrow. Take care.